My name's Pete Woods, you're watching Hexham TV, and I'm here in Hexham at Fentimans. Who are you?
I'm Piero Alberici, the Export Director for Fentimans.
Piero, tell me a little bit about Fentimans and its history.
Well, Fentimans started in 1905 and had various factories across the northeastern Yorkshire and was famous for its botanically brewed ginger beer. And that was sold on a door-to-door basis around the northeast. Many people still fondly remember the pot clay, they were called hens, that the liquid was delivered in. And that service really came to an end in the 60s when supermarkets became more to the fore and started to sell glass bottles. And it wasn't until our current owner, Eldon Robson, who was the great-grandchild of the original Fentimans family, decided it was time to look at starting the company up again. So in 1992 he made his first product again, which was again the ginger beer using the original recipe. The only change was that because it was put into glass bottles, it was pasteurized as opposed to being a live fermented product, which is what used to be delivered door to door. And the company's gone from strength to strength since that day.
And how many drinks do you produce here at Fentimans in Hexham?
This year we'll produce enough raw material to make around about 35 million bottles.
Wow. And how many people are employed here in Hexham?
In Hexham itself, there's 20 of us, but the company employs 40 people in total. The rest being salesmen who are dotted all around the UK and export markets.
Wow. So more recently, you've won an Exporter of the Year award with the Grocer. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's probably the most prestigious award within the food and drinks industry in the UK. And I believe we won it because we have a very good story to tell about our export activities. And the one thing that I believe separates us from many of our competitors is our use of flexibility. We've tried very hard to overcome all of the natural commercial barriers that get in the way of exporting a liquid like Fentimans all around the world. So we've worked hard at making sure that we produce products that, in terms of flavour profiles, like these new ones in front of me, elderflower and sparkling lime and jasmine, are flavours that people like to drink not just in the UK but particularly in places such as Europe. And we've also invested a lot of time in employing people to help us get things like production right, labelling, quality control, etc., etc. Always trying to maintain the one key phrase that our owner Eldon started with, which was, I want my drinks to be enjoyed around the world, so let's make sure that commercial barriers don't get in the way of people being able to do that. And that's really been the cause as to why we've been successful and why people like the Grocer magazine have picked us out and given us this fantastic award.
And you've recently moved premises to larger premises because of your success. Why did you decide to stay in Hexham?
Well, the key reason, to be honest with you, is we have some fantastic staff here, and we believe that we were part of the local community. I mean, we are one of the main sponsors, for example, of the Northumberland County Show. We want to be part of that, and we wanted to be able to offer local people good opportunities for work. So if you've got a good, strong workforce, why disrupt them by moving elsewhere? So we spent about 2 years looking for the right premises and invested a lot of money in this building to make sure it's got all that we need in terms of production and office space. And we intend to stay here forever and grow organically from this particular site.
And local young people, perhaps graduates from university or apprentices who might be interested in finding out more about Fentimans, how would they find out about the job opportunities that might be available?
Well, I guess there are 3 ways. One is keeping up to date with all the posts that we put on our website. Another is to look out for jobs, and we've recently just advertised for a new job in, I believe it was in the Hexham Courant, so we always advertise locally. And the third thing is I would encourage anybody who believes that they've got some skills that they can offer, even if they don't necessarily have the experience, to send their CV in. And we're always interested to talk to people who may be prepared to come and work for us and help us develop for the future.
And I'm interested in the branding of Fentimans. You promote very strongly Fearless the dog.
Yes.
What's the story behind that?
Well, if you look back to the old stone jars I was referring to earlier, up until the late 1920s, there was no branding as such. They were named Fentimans. But then in 1931 and 1932, the German Shepherd, that was the dog of the owner, called Fearless, won the Crufts Award for Obedience 2 years in a row. And Mr. Fentiman decided, you know what, this is an animal that I love, and I want that to be part of my company. So he created the logo, Fearless, and Fearless has been with us ever since.
And we're here in Fearless House in Hexham.
Indeed, yeah.
So what's the future for botanically brewed drinks and for Fentimans in particular?
Well, we have big ambitions for the future. We're selling now to over 60 countries. The UK is still our biggest single market, although we export all over the world. And our goal for the future is that we will be a company that's recognised as much internationally as it is in the UK.
Well, I can talk from personal experience and say how refreshing and interesting your drinks are, and it's a fantastic story in Hexham for a fantastic company that's doing really well, and a lot of that is down to the work that you and your colleagues have done. And so Piero, thanks very much for talking to Hexham TV today.
Thank you.